How much will that house that you're hoping to buy in the Durham region actually cost you? In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. I'm Vilija Truelove. I'm a local Durham region real estate agent, and I'd love to hear from you. If you're looking to move to or within the Durham region, whether now or 6 months from now, you can make an appointment at the calendar link in the description below. I can answer any questions you have, and you can get the process started. So for this example, I'm going to go with a $900,000 resale home in Whitby. New construction will be different. I'm going with this number because it's just a little bit under the average price for all home types sold in the Durham region last month in May 2024. If your budget is lower or higher, you can adjust accordingly. And of course, a disclaimer, your numbers and closing costs may vary from the numbers I'm going to give you here. When you purchase a home, your real estate agent as well as mortgage broker will give you more exact amounts for your specific situation. And your lawyer will give you exact closing cost numbers. This video is meant to start to give you an idea of what you can expect. Also, if you want links to different calculators and articles that talk about some of the things I'll be mentioning here, you can head over to my website blog, which you'll find also in the description below, and I'll have all of the details that you need over there. So the first amount you'll have to get together is your down payment. For a $900,000 home in Ontario, your minimum down payment is 5% of the first $500,000, and then 10% of anything between $500,000 and $999,999. So a $900,000 home purchase will require a minimum down payment of $65,000. Of course, you can put more down if you have it, 10, 15, 20%. If you have bad credit or you're self-employed, a bank might require you to put down a larger down payment. And if your income is too low to qualify for the mortgage amount that you want, that also means you'll have to increase your down payment to bring it up. Also, if you purchase a home for $1 million or more, your minimum down payment becomes 20% of the total purchase price. So $1 million purchase requires a $200,000 down payment. When you purchase a home, you must also put down a deposit. This is typically given within 24 hours of an accepted offer, and in the Durham region, it's usually around 5% of the purchase price. However, this is not in addition to your down payment. It's basically a portion of your down payment given in advance. So if you're putting down $65,000 as a down payment and your deposit that you're giving with the offer is $45,000, you'll be giving that $45,000 at offer time. This typically stays in the listing brokerage's trust account. And then you'll put down the remaining $20,000 of your down payment at closing with your lawyer. Another expense to expect during the process of purchasing a home is a home inspection, which typically costs between $400 and $500. This is paid directly to the inspector at the time of the inspection, which normally takes place during the 3 to 5 day conditional period after you've put in an offer. So you've gone through the offer process, your offer is accepted by the seller, and you've put down the deposit, and you've paid for your home inspection. The remaining closing costs will be paid to the lawyer at closing. Some things that will be part of your closing costs: land transfer tax, which I'll talk more about in a moment, plus you'll pay legal fees, including other disbursements and fees. So this can include things like registration of a mortgage and title insurance. A good estimate for legal fees and disbursements is between $2,300 and $2,800. There will also be adjustments on closing. The most common item requiring adjustment is property taxes. So if the seller has already paid property taxes until the end of September and you move in at the end of August, the lawyer makes adjustments for the seller to get that back from you on closing. There may also be adjustments on maintenance fees for condos if you move in the middle of the month, for example, or if the property has oil heat and the seller fills it before closing, the buyer will then pay them back for that as an adjustment on closing. So land transfer tax, it's a tax that everyone in Ontario must pay every time you purchase a property here. This tax is calculated as a percentage of the purchase price of a home, so it changes based on the purchase price. For the example of the $900,000 resale home in Whitby, your land transfer tax would be about $14,475. A couple of notes about land transfer tax. If you buy in Toronto, you get to pay land transfer tax twice, provincial and municipal. So this will pretty well double your payment. In the $900,000 example, you'd be paying $28,950 in land transfer tax. Also, as a first-time home buyer, you might be entitled to a rebate of up to $4,000. There are conditions for this. Again, go to my website for the Canadian government article that I've linked that spells it all out for you. If you buy in Toronto, your rebate goes up along with the payment, which is a nice bonus. So at closing, you'll meet with a lawyer and give them a check for the remainder of your down payment, the legal fees, disbursements, and any adjustments, and your land transfer tax. There is one more big expense for a buyer: mortgage default insurance. This protects the lender in case the buyer defaults on the mortgage, and it's required on all mortgages that put less than 20% down. This again is calculated as a percentage of the mortgage amount. So the more you put down, the lower the percentage becomes. Using the example of $900,000 with a minimum down payment, your mortgage insurance is about $33,400. Now, you can pay this upfront. However, the majority of buyers will choose to roll this insurance into their mortgage and not pay it all upfront. So it adds a little bit to your monthly expenses, but it's much easier than coming up with another $33,000 and just makes more sense for most people. That's why I added it onto the end here. Most buyers won't need to take more time to save this amount up because they don't have to. So now you're a homeowner. Congratulations. But the payments don't stop here. So what can you expect once you actually own the home? Of course, you'll have your mortgage payment. In the example of the $900,000 purchase price with a $65,000 down payment plus CMHC fees, your monthly payment will be about $5,125 monthly. This is with a 5.15% interest rate and a 25-year amortization. You will also have to pay property taxes. Our property taxes in the Durham region are quite high, especially compared to Toronto. So again, let's use our $900,000 home in Whitby as an example. You could be looking at about $4,800 to $4,900 a year. This is based on some townhomes that have sold recently in that price point. So just about $400 or so a monthly. Sometimes as a first-time buyer, the bank will require you to make this payment through them to make sure that it's paid. If you have the option, pay it yourself through the city. You can do this monthly in installments every few months, or pay the entire amount all at once if you want to. So you'll also need home insurance. Your rate will depend on many factors, but let's put that number at $120 to $150 a month for an average home. To try to get a better rate, you can go through the same company you have your car insurance with. They'll often give a discount for that. And also sometimes things like alarm systems will help. This is something worth shopping around for. And then you'll have your utilities. Again, this varies dramatically based on the size of the home, how many people are living there, if the teenagers are taking 2 showers each a day, like mine have been known to do, and if you're keeping all the lights on all the time, even if you're not home, for example. But again, to give you some estimates, you'll have hydro, which could be $140 to $180 a month. Gas may average about $220 to $250 a month throughout the year, and water maybe $100 to $150 a month. There are ways to reduce these amounts and keep them as reasonable as possible, but that's a topic for another day. For now, you can reach out if you'd like some of my tips. Lastly, it is a good idea to put money away every month for upkeep of the home. If the home inspector told you to expect that the roof needs to be upgraded in 3 to 5 years, or that the furnace should last another 7, you can start putting away money every month to save for those big ticket items. But there will also be smaller upkeep items that need to be done regularly that you can also budget for. So if you'd like a copy of my yearly home maintenance guide that tells you what you should do every season to keep your home in great shape, I included a link to that on my website article as well for you to download. So that about sums it up. If you found this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe so that you get notified of any of my future videos. And of course, if you're ready to get the home buying or selling process started, or if you just have some questions, You can set up an appointment through my calendar link or send me an email. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching.